That's
That's
one of
one
the
of
great.
you know what? That's one of the best quotes of all time, right
And you
Yeah,
know what? And we really could do a whole show off of it, just off
there.
of that
That's one
alone.
of the best one. That's one of the best. That's one of the best quotes of all times because
it might be a show. That
it,
might be
it
That's what I'm saying.
a
right
show.
because it don't even refer to like just basketball itself. It refers to life.
But if
You
we
know
kept it
something,
even in basketball, though,
That's what I'm
if
saying.
even if we
It don't
could,
even refer to sports. It refers to life
right?
in general.
Yeah.
you know something though, back in the day when we was watching television though, when it was actually something to do, not phones and all that, they
Mhm.
actually had quality shows. Yeah, a bit on the chauvinistic end, yeah, a bit on the sexist end from time to time. That's what we was raised on, so forgive us. But a lot of the shows had good morals to the story. It was like teaching stuff there. Now
Yeah.
everything kind of just ratchet and just kind of just who can show more attention, who more, toxic. And it's like everybody said that they say, oh, this is the blueprint for me to get put on, so they got to follow it.
Mhm.
So like now, back in the day with the television, it was like giving us game. Now it's just telling us to just be as ridiculous as possible to get put on.
We have to put that disclaimer out there, though. That disclaimer has to be out there, man. Don't let this television tell your vision, because
Please.
at the end of the day, in the world that we live in now, that's all it's doing, man. People just doing them but copying what it is. What sells the most? Sex, lies, and drama. That's it. So
Right. And that's
And we been
why
around years doing it the right way. So
right. You talk about drama. That's why, and I'm guilty. NBA trade deadline.
mhm.
It'd be a lot of drama, but not a lot usually happens, to be honest. Except for that one year. Was that 2017 where Cleveland just traded everybody but LeBron and Kevin?
Cleveland Community College. Cleveland Community College.
Right.
Them traded everybody, right?
Them folk got rid of, but they had the team like, hey, who were that? D Rose, D Wade.
D-Rose, D-Wade, IT. They just traded like everybody but like LeBron, Kevin Love, and J.R. Smith.
That's it.
And Kyrie.
Yeah,
And Shumpert. That was it.
Shumpert gone too. I think
Shumpert left that. He left that year too. I thought
he may have
stayed.
been there. He may have been there though. I'm gonna
Nah,
check.
he
As soon
played
as I
that
get through,
finals. I want
as
to
soon as I
think.
get through tagging everybody on the Facebook post that we live, I'm gonna check that chart because we are
Yes,
live.
yes, sir.
We
We
are-
live right now. Big shot got us in the game.
We
We
live. Listen, 94 feet of GM, 94 feet of trade deadline preview. And when you have a show this big, you gotta have, you need sometimes, me, Trav, and Ham can hold it down.
Yes, y'all can.
But when you had the trade deadline and some interesting things going on, we needed a fourth. And I'm not even gonna call him a fourth. I'm gonna just call him, we needed an original thing. So live in the building, Coach MJ is with us today, taking some time out. We thank him for blessing us with his presence, not being funny, taking time out of the schedule with the kids and everything that he got going. First of all, MJ, what's going on with you, man?
We hit a tough loser streak, but we were improving and getting better. So it was just a matter of just locking in on details, just trying to get them to continue to keep trusting in the process and trusting in the system, and really just going back to our roots as a coaching staff, because I don't know a lot of people know this, but Coach Bo Patton was also a trainer during the time I started training around 2013, 14. So we both were trainers. Guys used to put us up against each other, like, nah, I train with Bo, nah, I train with Myron. And they used to put us up against each other, but we never really met each other. When we met each other, it was just all love and blessings. And, we just talked it out and was just like, you know what, let's get back to what got us here, which is development of players. And It's been working out. And also what I've been learning more to do now is delegate. We got some guys who know what they're doing out there, and they're mature enough to be able to handle the leadership position. So it's time now. I just tell them, y'all do the pep talk. What do you think we should do? You do it.
There it is, man. So shout out to Coach MJ, Coach Larry Moore, G2, all of our Indiana crew of coaches and basketball minds. Of course, I got the building. I got Ham in the building, man. We doing this. So a couple of reasons. The trade deadline is not actually until February 9th. So the reason we doing it this week is two reasons. Number one, I got an idea for another show for next week, which I'm going to put y'all on. And then two, and I know a couple of y'all going to roll, not a couple of y'all, but the people out there going to roll their eyes. By the time we come back next Tuesday, we might have a little history that has happened.
Yeah. And according to the people at Legion Hoops, that history may happen tonight.
Hilarious.
On the folks. So we might be back here next week talking about a new all-time lead scorer, which is.
I gotta think about something, man. In our lifetime, we would have had that happen twice.
Yeah.
Because Kareem did it in '84.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure I wasn't probably watching, but I was in the room when the highlight was on.
Yeah.
And the mom probably screamed, "Yes!" You know, when he threw the hook. Then he hit him with the hook with it on the joint. You know, so it was
Hook
like,
shot.
wow.
That man scored like 35,000 points with the hook shot.
Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
I've never seen Kareem shoot a jumper. I've never seen Kareem even do like a regular layup.
He kind of like fitted that ball with Dr. J. It's like on all Dr. J highlights, he banging on somebody. You don't see Doc getting with the mid range, no floaters.
I done seen Kareem shoot 3 different shots in my lifetime.
But you know,
a hook shot, a dunk, and a free throw.
But it's old. It's old to the not just the old school, but just how they did stuff. It was just about results. Yeah. We don't care how I look. We don't care what it takes. If this is what it's gonna take for me to hoop, this is what I'm gonna do.
Shout out to Kareem and shout out to LeBron, man. I know there's a lot of eye roll that comes with LeBron. I get it, but dude is gonna walk away the number one in points and probably gonna walk away top 3 minimum in assists when this is all when we all through with this.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild to me. Like it's crazy, man. So shout out to them. But listen, let's get to 94 feet of front office. Phil, I think this is a really interesting trade deadline. I think a lot of teams have to make decisions. And you really look at the standings. For instance, the Western Conference 4 through 10 was separated by 2 games as of Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So for GM, he's like, man, how do we decide what to do? Because now this playing, we're in it. We're not a contender really, but we can't just toss away the season. You know what I'm saying? So
that kind of distance, it's like you really are in play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you finish 10th, 11th, or whatever the case, you really still are in play. So it kind of gives you different optics as to if you go just mail it in for the last few weeks, had a fire sale and reload, you know, in the offseason through draft, free agency and whatnot. But this is, I think where we talk about the negatives of the play-in, this might be one of the positives that we could draw at.
Yeah.
I mean, just the last 2 years, it's really just showed the growth and the versatility of the league and the evolution of the league. Because if you think about it, every team is a 10-game winning streak away from making this real interesting. I mean, Boston did it last year. You know, I remember I used to tell you guys by December I can tell you what's going on. I can no longer do that now because now it takes February. Because teams are, you know, taking a little bit longer to be able to gel, be able to get their sea legs underneath them, be able to buy in and get everybody on one accord. And everybody now is like, let's make that sprint after All-Star break. Let's just hang around and make that sprint after All-Star break. So I can definitely see on the Western Conference, Golden State doing that. I told you guys, I know y'all don't want to hear it, and I know y'all want to put the jinx on, but I told y'all the Clippers is substance in that soil over there. You got Tyronn Lue, you got Kawhi Leonard. That's nothing to sneeze at, along with Paul George, who has been hooping. You know, you got a lot of great pieces there, and they have depth this time. At first, it was very top heavy. Now they could go 11 deep with Kawhi and Paul.
And you see it. I think I think they're third as of today. So interesting choices. Trav, what's some initial thoughts on this year's deadline and kind of
Me personally,
Mhm.
it's only one that I'm really looking at like this as far as the trade deadline. As much as Memphis has been in talks of the wrong things, as far as trash talk and stuff that's outside, especially with the Tyree Nichols deal, man, I hope justice is well served on that. It is about that time. Get everybody that was involved in that. Shout outs to his family, prayers to his family, everything that is good that needs to be with his family, because that's just very tragic. But we're going to speak on it on a basketball tip. Dillon Brooks got to go. I'm sorry. Like, I try to look at that as like, let me see if he's going to buy in. He's not buying in. Everything about him has changed from his outlook of his jump shot. The only thing that will always stay with him is his toughness and his defense, because he's big enough, he's strong enough, he's fast enough to stay with the best. On the offensive end, you gotta look at your favorite GM across that border, Big Shot. He need to talk to him.
And you know what? What's funny is that MJ, I know why MJ laughed, because this is like a year plus year old conversation that we've
been talking about this.
What day
we had it here, we had it on the Facebook wall for an extent. And I remember on the wall, cats was like, no. And I knew why they didn't want to do it, because, and I can understand the reason. If they feel like that's your heart and soul, I can understand why you don't want to part with this.
Look,
2 weeks ago, when this question was asked by Big Shot, I was like, no, I don't want to talk about it. But also at the same time, I also knew, just as I was saying that, and I said it on the show, just as I'm saying, no, he'll come right back out tomorrow night, he'll be hawking like a fool. And he was hawking like a fool, and they lost 5 in a row. They went west, they lost 5 in a row, even when I was on the radio. And I mentioned it there. I'm like, I'm not saying that we should. I'm just saying I know outside of maybe 1 or 2 names, I don't know which way they can go. You know what I'm saying? What would be the right answer?
Here's always been a thing with Dillon Brooks. It has nothing to do with him as a player, but it has all to do with fit. This is the thing that you got to understand when you are chasing a championship. This is what separates it. Small window. It's little things. When you're chasing a championship, everybody has to be on the same page with your best player. When you play better when your best player is out than you do when your best player is in, that automatically lets me know you shouldn't be on that team.
But MJ,
this is simple math for me.
MJ, he's not doing either. I watched that game. I watched that Minnesota and Memphis game. He was pressing like he started.
I told him it was extension time coming. This is an extension year too. Is it not? I told y'all last year. Extension years next year. Do you really want to pay this man $20 million? And you got him for another 4 years. Do you really think the Dillon Brooks and Ja Morant backcourt is going to take you to the promised land? I told y'all it wasn't. And then Desmond Bane has the audacity to just take his spot altogether. So now you're about to pay $20 million for a dude that has to be a 6-man that doesn't even fit in with your best player.
Well, even I said it a couple weeks ago, here and on the radio, that it was really Zaire Williams' spot to take going forward. It's just a matter of him being 19 years old and growing into it, which if you give him the reps, he's doing fine.
Yeah.
He started majority of the season last year where he got the reps and he played well. He grew a lot from the summer to this year, just started this year injured. Once he gets off the injury list, he comes back, he's playing well. So it's like looking at it going forward, they drafted Zaire to get that spot from dude anyway. So if it's time, it's time.
So this leads me to buyers, sellers, and folks on the move. So let's start right there. I look at MJ's original trade. So I know y'all hate the trade machine. So I went to the trade machine just to make the money match. I know y'all hate it.
You use it for the right purposes though, Big Shot. So we can't play it.
I mean, we understand.
So here's MJ's trade slightly remixed. It's Dylan Brooks. It's Jake LaRavia, who was drafted in the first round this year. If you want to throw whatever pick you want to, for Gary Trent. The other one is Dylan Brooks, and the one that I really like. Now, the question with him is his health, because he got a banged up wrist right now. I would really love OG Anunoby with the Memphis.
Yeah, I would too.
If
you know what, Memphis would too. Once they get here, they would dig it.
Now, speaking of OG Anunoby, the other team who I believe should be in, again, his health, is Denver. Denver, we talked about this, we teased this last week. Is Denver a player short? We talk about the championship window being open. You got Jokic, a top 5 player in the league. You got Porter Jr., you got Jamal Murray. You have stuff that you like. But would it be worth it to say Anunoby? Now, the trade that works in that case is Caldwell Pope and picks. So
that might get there. Because they already long.
Mm-hmm.
And you adding another just bona fide hooper with that might be an issue.
I think, I don't know.
Go ahead, Trav.
I don't know. They need a piece. They need another piece that can go get it.
Yeah.
That's what Denver need. Jokic's gonna get his because the fact he's big and he's skilled, and if you double him, you're gonna kill him. They got enough spot shooters as it is already on their team. Jamal Murray can go get his. You gotta have that other one. I want to say New Orleans may not like this, but they need somebody like a CJ McCollum type. Somebody, they ain't gonna be able to get it as far as CJ McCollum, but I'm just that type of player.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because I got all my notes here. Because Ron prepared for this. Jay called me. So I'm prepared
Hey, I'm in the war room. I'm in the war room with them. Big Shot. He's quarterbacking this because he did all of the due diligence. I'm actually scrambling right now.
So here's a couple other names I want to throw at y'all. 3 really interesting names. Terry Rozier.
Okay.
Jordan Clarkson. And D'Angelo Russell.
All 3 fit what Travis said. Fit what Travis said. They all go get it. Terry is another story, but go ahead.
D'Lo, he's just gonna be. But the other 2 that you named, it's one of them 2.
Can I be honest?
Clarkson can.
Go ahead, MJ.
Can I be honest? Those guys too short. So here's my personal pitch. You know I'm a mad scientist. That's why you laugh. My personal pitch is to get the dude that has been in trade talks since he's been there, since they drafted a certain point guard. If I'm Denver, I'm looking
And
at.
I knew you was gonna say it.
I want John Collins. Here's
I knew
why.
you was gonna say it.
I don't need no guard to score points. Jamal Murray do that. I don't need no wing to make threes. Caldwell Pope already do that. Y'all said y'all need to go get it. What is the one place that Jokic usually operate on the floor? The top of the key.
Up top, Bill.
He ain't in down there. Get me John to go down there and go get it. Aaron Gordon is a live catcher. He can make an open shot, but he ain't gonna just go get it.
Now,
Yeah.
Go get 20 and 10 for me.
Yeah.
And he'll be happy because guess what? He's played in the offense that limited him since he's been there, since Trey has been there. And he's going to go into the office that's going to be like, nah, we want you to score. Jokic can't wait for him to score.
Right.
Now, the interesting part about that, because John Collins is a name that's on the notes. If you're Denver, let's say it's Collins for Gordon with some stuff thrown in to make the money match.
Yeah.
I had Aaron Gordon as or all-star because he really does the Sean Marion thing very well. With losing that, he's John Collins is a better offensive player than Aaron Gordon. No ifs, ands, or but losing that versatility on the defensive end, I would have second thoughts on that. It's not out of the question.
Yeah.
It's not out of the question.
And, that's why the name Coach MJ is Aaron Gordon what he is now because he's been that, or is it because it was coaching? I don't remember Aaron Gordon being a stopper until he got with Mike Malone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at it as if he can turn Aaron Gordon into a stopper, why not turn John Collins at the very least into a wing, a weak side shot blocker? He already getting rebounds.
Okay.
That's really all you need. Like Jokic just can't guard athleticism. It's very similar to Dirk Nowitzki. When Dirk got Chandler behind him, it was a wrap because he was able to just sit on middies, and if you blew by him, Tyson was going to clean it up. John Collins could do that. Because that's what Eric Gordon's doing, right?
Didn't you make a post about them being similar to the 2011 Mavs like 2 or 3 weeks ago?
I did.
Yeah, and that all tied together. And it all makes sense.
They are missing
It's all
that.
part of this. Go ahead.
No. Finish your thought.
I was just saying, as our partner always says, it all makes sense.
It all makes sense.
Now, I want to go to this one. There's another thing because the notes got a lot of stuff on it, man. It's a lot of stuff on these.
Yeah.
I just brought up D'Angelo Russell. Now, if you look at the situation in South Florida, the Kyle Lowry thing has not gone the way it thought it was going to go. And I think D'Angelo Russell is somebody who needs to change his scene. Kyle Lowry, his career is coming to a close. But if you talk about where you can go to a place where he could go and really kind of get some of the funk off of him, I would love D'Angelo Russell for Kyle Lowry. Simply because I think D'Angelo needs to go somewhere. They got a lot of, not that D'Angelo is a loose cannon, but some real structure.
Yeah.
I think he also gives Miami something they need because we just talk about who can go get it. And right now, Miami got one guy who can create a shot for himself. I know, Trav, you ain't a fan of it, but the reality is if they gonna score, it's going through.
It's gonna look
You
hard.
know what?
But
That deal can help. That deal can help both teams, though.
Yeah.
That deal can help both teams.
D'Angelo gets a change of scenery,
Yeah.
and he gives Miami something they actually need. They
Right.
need another shot creator
Right.
somehow. So to me, that I wrote that down too.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one as well.
I can see that. And I
Now,
think
as long as he able to, stay within the weight requirement, then yeah.
Oh no, but we go to Miami. That's
we ain't got to worry about that. He gonna be in shape.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in shape. It's just the fact of he don't need to be doing nothing that he ain't got no business doing in South Beach.
I never really known him for character issues. The only thing that I just really known him for was just the what he did his rookie season that everybody's really not shaking.
Right.
that nobody's ever let him forgive him.
I mean, after that, he was an all-star at Brooklyn, and they traded him.
Trade him.
Yeah.
Then he went to LA for a year, and they traded him. So it was just like, it's not
Well,
really.
he went to Golden State, right?
Yeah,
With the
traded him.
Golden State, yeah.
He just ain't really found that perfect match. So
That he got a real Chauncey Billups a start to his career.
Drew Holiday, actually.
A Drew Holiday start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think he could be on the championship team. He's good enough.
Now, I put this in the group. To me, the team that could swing this whole deadline is on the other side of the border. Because to me, if Toronto got a bunch of players that they've had a terrible season, it's not going well. They have stuff that if you're a contender, I'll take that. And I wrote on my notes for them, anybody but Scotty Barnes.
I feel you.
Anybody else?
I feel you.
It's Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime go to Toronto. Probably need to go ahead and start their rebuild. They won a championship. That cycle of players
Yeah.
between Gary Trent, who we've talked about, Anobi, who we've talked about. I give you another one. Now, he's on big money, so it would be a blockbuster. But if you really want to start your rebuild, you make Pascal available.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is already. Massey don't play. He'll make him available. And I'm gonna be real. You might as well sell high on Pascal anyway. You got a lot out of a guy that got picked in the 20s in the first round. You got a lot out.
A lot.
Right.
You
Rico
did- you
High
did-
project.
I mean, we knew that him being a number one option on a championship team was probably far-fetched. We knew that. But he's proven that he could be a number 2 or 3.
Absolutely.
He already proved it. So that's there. So anybody who has their legitimate superstar could definitely be in the market. I mean, $35 million for a guy like Pascal is more than reasonable. It's not bad. And Massey's only going to want picks anyway. Picks that expire. That's all he's going to want, regardless. And so he'll make it happen. He ain't one of them dudes that's just like, is going to try to, finesse you and get more than what he just want what he wants, which is what makes him a great GM. It's a win-win situation working with him. It may not seem like a win-win at first, but it always usually end up being like a balanced trade. Even with the Kawhi trade, it's like San Antonio didn't get hosed. They got some good years out of DeMar.
Trav, let me ask you something. Brooklyn, buyer or seller?
As far as for a trade option or buying or selling of them being a good team in the East?
Buy. Should they be looking to move, or do you stand pat? Maybe not even seller. Stand pat, or should they be in the market for something?
It don't hurt to shop. It don't hurt to shop. It don't hurt to shop. I say shop. I'm gonna stick with shop. The thing with the Nets is health.
There you go.
The thing is the Nets with health. You finna get KD back in about next week or so.
Mm-hmm.
They just made a massive run. They're like fourth in the East. They're like fourth in the East because I
Right.
think Cleveland is right up under them or something like that. But you doing that right now, when they make that push, like we've been saying all along, the second round of the playoffs, if their standing stays the same, it's going to be some classic battles in the East.
Yeah. They could use size. I think size would be the worst thing for them. Now, Ham, I'm gonna go to you on the next one, but I'm gonna tell you if I'm Brick, what I would honestly do. And this is not being hot take-ish at all. I really think you actively, now he is damaged goods beyond belief. I am actively trying to get Ben Simmons out of there. Because to me, we talk about championship aspirations. Kyrie and KD playing that well. If I got a real third option, I got a chance to win it. I don't know what you can get. I would not even sit here and pretend like you're going to get something great back. But if I could move off him to make room for something else, I absolutely would do it. Tried to do the reclamation project. It ain't working. It ain't working. We tried. Tried. Okay.
Sometimes you just got to believe what you're shown at the very beginning. Big Shot, credit Big Shot for this. Big Shot caught this before he even stepped foot in an NBA ring. He asked a couple of questions that nobody really had an answer to. The first question he asked was, how on earth does an LSU team with the number one draft pick and two other NBA players not make it to the NCAA tournament? It was a very valid question. It was an extremely valid question. Then he had a follow-up question. How on earth does said player who's leading this team gets in a situation with this school to where they don't even show up for the NCAA? Have you ever heard of a school saying, "Nah, I'm just not gonna go to the NIT"? I've never heard that before in my life.
There ain't no school turning down no money, man.
I knew it was something about the SEC tournament when they got put out. I knew it.
And this was 7 years ago, fellas.
But the thing
none of this. Go ahead.
Just the thing about it though is you just looked at it. It was just like, if you really looked at him, he was like, this dude don't really like basketball. It's kind of hard to, want to commit millions and millions of dollars to a person that kind of don't like what they do, no matter how talented they are at it.
Yeah.
Throwing money at it is only going to make them more entitled. And as we can see, he's a very smart basketball player, very intelligent. But I think he's one of those type of guys who let his intelligence, he overthinks everything now. He overprocesses things that doesn't require that processing. That's probably why he threw that pass that everybody talks about. He overprocessed it and thought somebody was going to be there when in actuality it wasn't. And the person that was there, you're a whole foot taller than, so it doesn't matter. So
I can't waste. If I'm Brooklyn, I can't waste KD and Kyrie's season.
They gelling. They gelling. They are gelling. Like if one is picking up each other, man. That Brooklyn team is finally getting to, and it don't hurt to have young guy in the middle blocking shots.
Young guy in the middle is playing well.
Active. And you got Kyrie in the contract.
They getting healthy.
The other reason to move him.
The other reason to move. Free that money up so you can bring Cat back and let Cat finish up what he want to do. You got Kevin back already under.
Mm-hmm.
You got Kevin already signed up, so you move You get Ben out the way, you put that money there with Kai and add what you can add from there and see why if you out there shopping like Trav said, see if you can find you a game genius so y'all can stop all the injuries, y'all get through the conference portion of the playoffs, possibly get the jump.
Go ahead.
Wish.
Go ahead.
No, I just got a quick question because I noticed something the last 3 or 4 months. I haven't heard anything negative from the media about Kyrie Irving. Isn't that something?
You can't. You can't.
He on Kyrie Van Go time. That's why.
You can't.
But it's just amazing how you produce and all of your ideologies, which probably stay the same, just goes out the window.
Right.
It's amazing.
And did he not get voted in as a starter at the All-Star?
Well, we knew that. I mean,
what they're like, I mean, I know I'm just putting this on the group, our group, 94 Feet of Life, but what they're like, numerous cats in our group that were saying that they don't like him, they don't like how he maneuver and punk bullshit like that. I'm just saying, they were saying I had to throw that out there.
The question about him is just, as long as there's nothing surrounding, as long as when he's focused and all, nobody can really deal with him. And since those incidences, he's been like this. He's been like a true artist. Ham, Dallas, stand pat or buy?
Ooh, I know what they want, how they want to roll, but how they need to roll, they need one more piece too.
Yeah.
I mean, because the strategy is going to be for anybody that sees them, you're going to have to make 7-7 play on the defensive end too. You know what I'm saying? Just a part of it. And he gonna throw everything he get on the offense. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. But you don't want him to have to carry all of it. I mean, we know how this is, man. The higher the usage rate, the lower the chances is that you're gonna win it all playing this way. It's just the nature of it. I mean, they're gonna be exciting, they're gonna put up buckets, but how many of those implosion type situations like you had with Phoenix last year are they gonna benefit from to keep them advanced year after year? Eventually it's gonna run out. So I think they need to be a buyer of some kind, you know what I'm saying? Because where they sit right now, I think they like 6 or something like that too. Let me see.
It's a lot of Luka's putting in a ton for a first.
They had 6. They had 6, then they tied with Phoenix, New Orleans, all Golden State, all right there in the mix together.
Mm-hmm.
In that 4 through 10 window with the Clippers and Minnesota, that's a party.
Yeah.
And you know what's messed up is they need something, but the thing that they need is only 4 of them in the league, and it's going to be impossible.
Right. You know what? That's what it was too.
Unless it's
I'm trying to figure out what they need.
Unless it's a healthy Anthony Davis, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kevin Durant, or offensive-minded Evan Mobley, there's nothing else you can give them that's going to make them there's nothing else.
Yeah.
Because what you need for Luka is a guy that can score without needing the ball and can rim protect.
Yeah.
That don't exist for real. Like, it's 4 of them. That's it.
Yeah.
And only 2. The other 2 got question marks behind. Like, AD got to stay healthy. And Evan Mobley, we don't know if he, wants to be a 25-point scorer.
So there's a couple. So I think there's a few interesting deals out there, y'all. I think we've gone through some of the big ones. I just throw you a couple other names out there. Smaller deals. You look at Oklahoma City right now. We thought was going to be in no victories for Victor. But they now in the play-in as of re-recording this, or they're very close to the play-in. Now you got this plan that you're gonna get all these draft picks, right? You won't be able to draft all the Browns kids. You're gonna draft Carmelo's child. You're gonna be able to draft Gilbert Arenas' son. You got everybody. But could you sell high to somebody now And I'm gonna throw out one of Ham's favorites, Lou Dort.
Yeah. You can sell him. Here's
Yeah, they
why.
can find another loop. They can find another loop.
There it is. Like that's the thing. Y'all got to break this thing down in tiers. Like, unless you got a guy that is going to automatically draw either a bucket or a double team that leads to a bucket, everybody else is kind of replaceable. That's the NBA. No matter what position it is, that's what you need. If the guy can either damn near guarantee you a bucket or a double team that's going to lead to a bucket, that's what you need. After that, it's a bunch of 3DA guys or it's a bunch of defensive specialists who can do stuff. And all of them are albatross pieces. They're important, though, because, you know, the role players is what win championships, right? But what you got to think is like either you got to have 10 or 11 dogs or you got to be extremely top heavy and have like a big three or a big four in the best shape of their life and just 3 or 4 guys who know they wrong. And to be real, I think that blueprint has passed because it's just so much talent. I think you just need 10 or 11.
Now, a couple other teams I just want to kind of mention real quick what they need to sell. Number 1 on my list is Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever happened to them in that Dallas series has bled over into this season. Devin Booker has been not healthy for a lot of it. And sometimes it just doesn't come back. If they talk about a team that can go on a 10-game streak, Phoenix, I just don't feel like they got another gear. I don't think there's nothing there. So, to me, tough to do because his money is, again, gets big money. Yes, Trav, I am saying it.
I already know. We talked about it.
If Coach Les was here, I'm sure his ears would perk up. I would quietly, carefully say, Chris Paul, where would you like to go? And something be arranged.
Damn fool will respond. He gonna say, Brooklyn, save me from Benz.
You know what? If that happens.
Oh, it's funky. Because Chris gets reignited. And Kai don't have to have a rock like that.
Exactly.
Another team.
Especially if Chris can actually still guard.
Mm-hmm. Because
even short stretches.
Because to your point, Ham, I think the role where Chris Paul's at in his career, he can't offensively. He got 12 points a game, man. That's about it. About 12. Yeah. Somewhere where he could really, somebody who just need that key turn just a little bit. So Phoenix seller, close to MJ in my former home, Chicago. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's not going to be Zach.
I was going to say that too.
If it was me, Zach would be the one to go. Because I think what DeMar brings them from a skill level, his professionalism, how he is as a guy, a younger team like that needs him.
Yeah.
But we just paid Zach. Just pay Zach, you ain't going to be able to get, can't move. So.
The thing about DeMar DeRozan, can his mental handle another move?
Depends on where.
That's what I'm saying. Can his mental?
Where?
Because that Dallas move would be nice.
I can be real with y'all. I don't think Zach or DeMar should go. I think it should be Vucevic.
he's the piece you can probably move the easiest.
He's probably
Here's
good.
the reason why.
Where would you move? Where would you move him though?
No, I don't know. But I think just off looking at what Boston has done, and I know they're an older version, like Chicago's an older version because DeMar's a little bit older. But what Boston has done with their shooting guard wing combination, in which they finally figured that out, the Bulls have the same capability. But the problem is the one piece that they're missing is other guys that complement that wing behavior. First off, once again, we don't know what's going to happen with Lonzo. Lonzo made a lot of that. Second, when you have a big like Vucevic has always been Jokic light on the low. In order to get the best of him, he needs to run like a point center type deal in which he can get 20, 10, and 5. Because he can get you that, but it's very hard to do that when you have wings that are just straight getting busy. Right. So now, if you're going to focus on the wings, now we need a shot blocker. We need a Robert Williams. Get everything off the glass, beat everything off the glass on defense. That's what we need. So we don't need a Vucevic. And it sucks because when you first brought in Vucevic, yeah, you needed him, but then you brought in these pieces that don't match. Everything's about fit. So
Vucevic with Dallas would be decent.
Yeah.
Vucevic with Dallas would be decent. But I think the Bulls, I think Phoenix needs some move. I think we talked about Miami with Lowry. Miami has sort of semi-righty thing, but I think they're still on the outside looking as far as being the contender. So we've gone through a couple names, a couple of squads. We want y'all input. Who needs some move? Shout out, man, Matthew Gordon. Matthew, this is all I'm going to tell you. Jay probably got a more troll. But there's only one guy on the Knicks you can move and get stuff for. And are you really ready to do that? And it's Julius Randle.
I would.
And Julius is interesting because his numbers say one thing, and he have an outburst, a 40 game, but it's something about Julius that doesn't work for me.
He passed.
I don't even. But
they work hard for buckets.
It's that. It's really that, and it's like I can appreciate the effort, but I know that if you're trying to build it to get to the joint, it ain't gonna get to the joint. I can respect the player, I can appreciate the player, the effort, and all that, but it's sad to say, but it's like, because I don't want to minimize it, but it's like that's just one of them. He just a hooper in this league. He gonna put up his numbers, he gonna make his money, he gonna do his thing, but he's never really gonna be in that contention in that way. And to me, that's okay. You still win at life.
Oh yeah. when Julius Randle get about age 33, 34, he's gonna win a ring as a sixth man.
If he gonna win one, yeah, he'll be that way. He'll be that type of cat that's do that.
That's going to be his lane because he dominates the ball too much to be a second option. He doesn't shoot it well enough to be a third option. Yeah. And he doesn't defend well enough to be a fourth or fifth option.
He's a big
too hard to be a first option.
Nice player, though.
No, but that's about this league. When we're talking about this league in particular, this league, you send him overseas, he'll win multiple championships because it's just about hooping. This league in particular, it ain't just about hooping. Guys got a little bit of special that just makes them a little bit over. Like they wake up in the morning and just do things that no hooper, no matter how hard they work, can do. And that's what makes this league different and special. What Victor W can do on a nightly basis, what Luka can do on a nightly basis, there isn't anything you can do with that. So what, you gonna put Julius Randle at point and try to make him like that? No. Because that'd be about the only way you could probably get the most out of him.
Right.
But it's like, no. Because now you got Jalen Brunson who's handling that part well as well.
I just want to make sure I talked about the Knicks because he you know, and Ham and Matt be having their back and forth.
Oh yeah, that's my guy, man. I like Matt.
That-
I told Matt it's gonna always be a good fun, but I'm gonna kill the Knicks over it. It's just what it is.
So, fellas, let's talk about dig into the time machine real quick. Some of your favorite trades. We're gonna talk about some of our favorite trades that actually did happen and stuff that almost happened. So, Trav, I'm gonna let you start this off.
Y'all know long time ago I was scared. Number one power forward in the league, about to leave. And he was one question away. He was one question away
Oh yeah.
from leaving the San Antonio Spurs. Can I take my wife and kids on the airplane ride? This has been verified by 3 different people. Doc himself, Tracy McGrady, and Grant Hill just said it on the Knuckleheads.
Right.
The Orlando Magic had a healthy Grant Hill, Tracy McGrady, and potential Tim Duncan. Almost there. And Doc blew it.
That's why they ain't gonna never be nothing.
Doc was messing up 3-1s for a minute, huh?
Yes. Yes.
You
He's
know
been
what
messing up
happened right
3
after?
minutes.
You know what happened right after that? Jake Shuttlesworth popped up in his little bubble and said, "That's why they ain't gonna make it. Why they ain't gonna make it." And they didn't make it. So you know,
Yes, that's one of those ones. And I'm like, thank you.
Some of my favorites that actually did happen. And I like trades. I don't like salary dump trades. I like real basketball trades. So here go a couple. Y'all just react to them. Dikembe Mutombo for Theo Ratliff.
All-star for
76ers.
All-star, defensive player for the year for defensive player of the year. One of them just went to the Hall.
That's all.
Because Theo Randall was beating everything in Philly, but it's like, yo, we got to get one more level up with this thing.
It was.
And they went and got the kid. It
And
went to
that's-
the finals.
It was just we need a little bit better.
Right.
2019.
Yeah.
Marcus Gasol for Valanciunas.
Shout out to Jonas. We still love Jonas down this way, you know.
That was a big
Yeah, that was big.
big time trade for
Yeah.
both
Power
teams, actually.
That was a power
Because
move.
Valanciunas did his thing in Memphis.
He did a thing in Memphis, still doing the thing in New Orleans.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, shout out to Big Jonas, man.
And of course, Mark was a key piece.
Mark was
Mark
the key. Here go one. Now, this is the opposite. This is where the guy who you think is the better player at the time, but maybe he's not the best fit. MJ talked about fitting the piece around Jokic, fitting the piece around Luka. Remember this one. An older Jason Kidd for Devin Harris.
Ooh, from the Jersey. The Jersey, what was what kid?
Yeah. Jason Kidd was
He
New
went
Jersey.
back to Dallas, right? That was Dallas Jersey.
How about this?
But Devin was an all-star. Devin was an all-star in New Jersey.
Jason Kidd was the old vet.
Yeah.
Other people were like, why would you trade the younger all-star guard for the vet?
But that Dallas team was full of like rejected vets. The only key piece that was there was Dirk.
Mm-hmm.
I think I heard somebody that was Tyson Chandler.
Tyson Chandler talking about that.
Tyson Chandler talked about this, and he said Dirk is ready. We just got to get him
We
there.
got to get him there. He said Sean Stevenson watched him shoot that day. Were like, just got
We got to
him
get him there. And when they got him there in 11, they struck gold.
I'm so glad that the CBA changed and they had to break up because they would have won. They would have won 2-3 more.
Go ahead.
Just
Go ahead,
saying.
MJ.
No, I was actually about to say two of my favorite trades. I call it finding a Rolex in a trash can. Yeah. People forget at the trade deadline, Tyson Chandler was on the Charlotte Bobcats rotting on the bench.
Yeah.
Y'all forgot that. He didn't get he was an afterthought.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
motherfucker was like, he out the league. That man went from being a DNP CD to the leading defensive anchor on a championship team.
It's true. Yeah.
And my favorite, finding the Rolex in the trash can. My man Sheed.
Absolutely. That's the coolest one.
For Atlanta, they sent him to basketball purgatory thinking it was whatever. And the same dude who had Tyson Rotten on the bench years previously, saw number 30 in Atlanta. It was like, you know what? Let's try it. So it just goes to show you that you just never know. Because the same dude who made that genius move to take a chance on Sheed was the same dude who had a defensive MVP in the finals on a DNP.
Yeah.
Basketball is that fragile. Which means in real life, none of us don't know shit.
And listen, MJ, you're right. It's the fragile nature of your basketball ecosystem, and are you willing to take a stab at breaking it up? And that leads to old school Mark Aguirre for Adrian Danley.
Yep. Valentine's Day, 1989. Oh, cool. I even remember the date because I remember that happening. I was thinking then, like, uh-oh. As an 8-year-old, I knew what was trouble. Because I was just watching Detroit just come on 7 where they got robbed. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm a fan of Mark Aguirre already. Just watching them do work in Dallas. I'm like, you add that? Ooh, that's gonna be a problem. I got 2 quick ones, and both of them involve the bluff.
Okay.
Both of them actually, okay, that first one, I could go with the Sharif Papal because that was just the genesis of Memphis Grizzlies basketball on draft night.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that I got to be in the building for when he made his debut, and I can't remember who they traded him for, but when Fonzie got here from Portland, Fonzie got a standing door, and I was at the game that night. I'm talking about it was live, you know what I'm saying? But and all of that ties in because that's the first 50-win season. They go to the playoffs, all that. So it's cool on that.
Absolutely.
I got three actually. The Gasol brothers swap of 08, that started the grit grind there. Because you got Conley already here. You eventually get Tony a couple summers later, you get Zach a summer later, you bring Mark in on the same time, there's your core 4 for grit grind. And Rudy Gay for Tayshaun Prince solidified the grit grind role.
In trade, because when that trade happened, I was like, what?
You take a cat that's averaging 27 and Rudy, but he kind of really stalled your offense out how they were running because they still trying to run through him, but your strength is inside out.
Straight
with Zach and
high-low action. Strength was
Right,
high-low
and
action the whole time.
They took what Lionel wanted to do away from him and made him play another way, brought in Tayshaun. Tayshaun actually provided like some clarity and great presence for the squad. They become a better squad. They go to Western Conference Finals. And Tayshaun resulted in Tayshaun is still here helping construct this current team that we got.
It matters.
So I bring that back to like in that level, you know what I'm saying, where Tayshaun ultimately is a part of what you see in being built now.
And that's
a decade ago.
If you talk about fit, on surface, Rudy Gay for Tayshaun Prince, I'd never do that.
Tayshaun can have some of those box score lines where you like he ain't doing nothing, but you look at the plus minus when he's in there, and it validates itself. You can see it if you know ball, you can watch. You like they much more calm when they got Tayshaun on the floor. So not like when we had Kyle Anderson last year. It's a lot more calm when you had Kyle on the floor. Just what it is, you know. Great fit.
Now, some of our favorite, we'll call them near misses. Trades that not the trade that you made up on Trade Machine, stuff that's Googleable. There's stuff that actually happened.
Googleable.
My favorite one, because I'm like, how could you not do this? Shout out to our man Jeremy Merritt. Shout out to our good friends in Cleveland. But MJ, Trav, Ham, you trying to hold on to the best player in the world, LeBron James. You trying to hold on to. You need to take one swing at a chip. You got. We ain't trying to come up off of J.J. Hickson for Amari Stoudemire.
You got to pull the trigger on that one, man. You got to.
I forgot about that until you sent that the other day in the inbox. I read it. I was like, yo, I forgot about this. But this happens.
And you were like, no.
Let me ask this question. Go ahead.
It's too many pump fake non-trades that happened during the Bulls Kurt Heinrich era that I'm not going to even go into them, but I'm just going to end it with one statement and one statement only. When Jerry Krause said Kurt Heinrich is untradeable, I already knew where it was going for the rest. I'm like, yeah, we're basketball hell. You mean to tell me this 6'4" white boy is untouchable? Like
I remember.
Nobody. Like, nobody. You can't. You just hanging up the phone every time, huh? So
speaking of,
I can't you back. You just like I can't do it. Really?
I mean, was Kurt a great character guy or something? I mean, what was he?
Kirk was the classic. If he's the first guard off your bench, you're doing well. He was that. If Kirk the first off your bench,
oh, Kurt was cool.
Kirk great. But is Kirk? Are we gonna not trade for an MJ?
Tradable. Hey, rest in peace his soul. The reason why some of those trade talk stopped with Kobe going to the Bulls because Kurt Heinrich was included.
Would y'all have pulled that? Speaking of debt, would you have pulled the trigger? Would you have pulled the trigger on that?
Let me tell you something.
You got to pull the trigger. You got to pull the trigger.
Kobe Bryant to the Bulls was the first time I had heard of as a hoop head where the player gets to create his own trade. Right? Or go find a trade. I had never heard of that until Kobe. I never heard of that.
Man, the talk stalled because of Kurt and Luol Deng.
Yeah, because I know Kobe said he wanted Deng there.
That's fine.
Right.
The stall
Kurt?
With Kirk Heinrich.
Ain't no way.
Do you see why? I'm a fan free agent. I can't invest in it.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way. It just ain't no way.
I'm not about to do this.
It ain't no way.
This is not loyalty. This is stupidity. No offense to my loyal fans. This is stupid. I'm gonna give them off a cliff. This is a code. You gotta be drinking poison. What the fuck is this?
I'm gonna give y'all a couple. I forgot about it. I forgot about Kevin Love for Klay Thompson.
I did. Because Jerry West threatened to quit on site.
That's why Jerry West is the GOAT GM.
I did.
The GOAT GM.
And I seen that little clip that Big Shot sent us, and I slightly remember in 2012, they was trying, dude. Again, Jerry West probably the best, one of the best GMs ever. Cause one thing he didn't let go of Klay Thompson, but they was trying to trade him for James Harden.
Definitely forgot about it. I had completely
Kept him.
So here's one that actually falls into the category of both of your questions, Ryan. The trade, the most interesting trade that did and did not happen. Chris Paul to LA.
Chris Paul to LA.
Now,
I'm moving parts in that.
Chris Paul to the Lakers. I'm gonna say this. Y'all not a lot of people ain't gonna like me, but I don't care. To me, making that trade would not have led to anything.
I don't think so either.
It wouldn't have.
I don't think so either.
Think about who you was giving up.
Yep.
You gave up your size in Gasol. You were
And Lamar.
And who? And
Lamar.
you were giving up your versatility in Odom for a point guard that at the time was in his prime and was dominating that ball.
Oh.
And you're going to pair him with a shooting guard that the
needs the
last
ball.
thing he's going to let you do is dominate the ball.
Dominate the rock.
You also talk about not only that, MJ, we talk about fit. You're trading the two guys that hold your locker room together.
Yep.
And Powell and Lamar.
And now that we're learning what Chris Paul really is. Imagine him and Kobe in that locker room together.
It's a reign of terror in that locker room.
It won't work. It won't work.
It's like I and Jordan in the locker room together.
Listen. Right. Two psychopaths together.
Yeah.
Respect to Kobe, but we all know Kobe was a
He's a psycho. He's a basketball psychopath. We know it.
Chris Paul wears his nerve out with everybody.
Yeah. I got a funny story on one that even I don't think was on the table, but it really happened because of the radio show that I listened to at the time. Trav, you know, this is the Chris Burns show. Okay, backstory on this. For the first, I'd say 3 years maybe, of Mike Conley's career, Chris Burns destroyed this dude on a daily basis. It took some time.
Okay.
It took some time. The song "Every Rose Has Its Thorn" by Poison. Keep that in mind. At one point in time, there was a potential scenario where the Grizzlies were looking to move Mike Conley, and one of the names that surfaced was Ramon Sessions when he was in Milwaukee. This was like, I think, year 2 of Conley. I think this was like 2009. Yeah, because it was before AI, which then led to a whole nother funny song later on down the road. Vernon was at the point of being able to discuss with Conley to the point to where he actually remixed the song "Every Rose Has Its Thorn" to the hook, "Mike Conley really sucks. They should have traded him away to the Bucks." This was an actual song that actually made me pull over in traffic.
Vernon is something else, man.
Thankfully, Vernon owned up afterward. He was like, he warmed up to Mike. He even had Mike on the show. You know what I'm saying? But just at that time, Vernon was destroying people with like custom songs. Coach O from LSU, world-renowned song that got put out. AI even had a song when he was here.
Did he make a song about To Beat?
Did
he make a song about To Beat?
That's the one he should have made. But I heard
they did make one. Remember the song Wayne had, "Let the Beat Build"? Let the beat build. Let the beat build, bitch. They flipped that into that, but the lyrics in between it was classic. And it wasn't even Vernon. It was his producer. It was John Rosa doing
I
the
need to
rapping
hear
on
that.
them.
I need to hear that. I need to
It's
hear
on the old Vernon show. I don't think the archives are still available like that, but since he's moved platforms on a couple of different occasions, but dude put some classics out. But the Mike Conlon song was one that actually made me pull over
Listen.
the track.
First of all, to the fact that Ramon Sessions was always
He
classic.
was hooping at that time, though.
Sessions, Ish Smith,
Yeah.
Jared Jack,
Jared
Monty
Jack. Yeah.
Monty Moore.
they always on the move on trade deadline. Them four, just keep it real at their own speed.
Jared Bayless, they kept a gig, you know.
Mhm.
And kill your summer league guard, but they just wasn't good enough to guard the summer.
No.
So right that gap.
And there you have it. So before we get out of here, we're going to release the last man standing.
Mm-hmm.
This was pretty landslide. So Damian Lillard won it in the West. And the aforementioned DeMar DeRozan won it in the East. So
I
those
think Dave watched the show. Dave watched our show. He saw the levels of disrespect. He went out the next night. He was sick of Pat Bev too. All that was rolled into
damn, we love you. That's them. That ain't me.
Hey, that man scored a point for every minute that's on his clock.
60.
Tough. So look, we're gonna get out of here, man. Shout out to our coach MJ for stopping through the building, man, taking time out of his schedule.
To work, y'all.
Trav in the building, Ham in the building. Next week, we got a couple different topics. We're gonna see what happens with LeBron in the scoring race. But the topic next week is when the dynasty ends. Think about it.
It might be one of my favorite shows right here.
I can't even make it. I got trained. Dang it. That's okay.
I got your back, MC Cataract.
I got you. So next week, we're going to talk about when the dynasty ends because I think we got one coming to an end. And we're going to talk about how do you transition out.
Tyler said he won't end on this show. Tyler, come on.
Tyler, if you available next week, we'll have you. We got you. MJ, Ham, Trav, Ron, 94 Feet Life is a Facebook group. Basketball